Hello and welcome to episode 88 of Game Honey, your favorite sticky, sweet gaming podcast on the internet.
Yeah.
First of all, we would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I will be your host for today. My name is Polar. You can find me on Twitter at KumagumaPolar. I am joined today by a very, very sick boy.
Yeah.
Both mentally and physically. Panda.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Have a great Kwanzaa. Have a wonderful Festivus.
I think I will.
And a happy Hanukkah.
It's a very, very difficult thing to do in this godless country that we live in.
Have a very Kentucky Fried Chicken Christmas.
Yeah.
We touched on this before, but yeah, Japan thinks that Christmas is all about Kentucky Fried Chicken and cake.
Yeah, I guess KFC just waged a very, very effective campaign where they sort of convinced Japanese people that Kentucky Fried Chicken is the same as eating an actual turkey. So Japanese people associate Christmas with eating KFC. And by doing a whole lot of shopping, as I experienced firsthand yesterday, when I foolishly subjected myself to the masses by going to the mall.
You brave but foolish man.
I was talking to people like the day before, like, I would never do this. I would never go to the mall on Christmas, and turns out that's exactly what happened. And it's pretty terrible.
Oh.
Not least because I saw the new Star Wars.
Oh. Yeah, we're gonna start off with that, or?
No, I guess a lot of people we discussed before the show that we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Star Wars as well, because we've now both seen it. But I guess we should save it until the end of the show so people who haven't seen it yet can just tune out.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So, we'll just... Are you feeling the Christmas spirit, by the way?
I'm feeling sick, like you said. I got a cold again for the third year in a row on Christmas, so I guess in that sense I'm feeling the Christmas spirit. But yeah, no, it's all good. Santa brought me Xenoblade 2, so haven't tried it out yet because I
kind of him.
Only got it just got it, but I'll be trying that out real soon.
I'm surprised. I actually I didn't think that you'd pick it up for some reason.
Well, I technically I didn't. No, I was really interested in it. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about Xenoblade later on in the program, which might come sooner than expected because there is no news this week, besides the fact that there was a content update for ARMS on the Switch.
Yeah.
As at the same time, Nintendo announced that ARMS and Zelda would no longer be getting any big content updates, which for Zelda, I guess, makes sense. We now have the DLC that's promised. ARMS, they gave us a whole bunch of characters.
Yeah. I seem to remember, don't pin me down on this, but I seem to remember them saying something like that they would support it at least through the end of the year or something when they released it.
If this hypothetical quote is true, then I guess they stuck with it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just pulling these quotes out of my ass, but anyway, good on you, Nintendo, for seeing my fictional quotes through.
You haven't played it in a while, but
no.
If you would be so kind to boot it up and just check in how much content they actually added onto it, I would be interested to know.
At least 3 characters, because they added the final boss as a playable character, and they added the clown, and now the doctor lady, who's supposedly evil or something.
No way.
So at least 3 characters. I don't think there was another one. Maybe there was 3 or 4 characters. So that's pretty all right for free content updates.
Yeah, that's it for the news.
Well, sort of, because the stop on new Zelda DLC, the team that was working on it has moved on to the next Zelda game. So development has officially started on the new Zelda game.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's news, but I think that's pretty much how it always goes. Like the moment they finish a project, or a big like tentpole project within Nintendo, they move on to the next one.
Yeah, but it's at least good that. I mean, of course, they were going to make a new Zelda, but then again,
it's reassuring that they're not burning the franchise to the ground.
Well, you never know with Nintendo. I mean, some of their tentpole franchises like Metroid were just like put on ice for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, they weren't going to do it
with
with Zelda, but still.
Yeah.
Still.
I appreciate the effort in playing devil's advocate.
Yes.
What do you want to see from a new Zelda?
Oh, we're going to go full steampunk now.
Oh, God.
We're going to go full modern
now.
The
Legend of Fallout?
I'm assuming that they're going to use the engine that they built for Breath of the Wild. So
I really hope they do.
Yeah, and Aonuma has stated in the past that the basic idea for Zelda's going forth will be open world as Breath of the Wild was. So I'm assuming it'll be Breath of the Wild, but the question is if it'll be Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time, or if it will be something like Wind Waker to Ocarina of Time, to sort of make a comparison, if you will, if you know what I'm saying.
Not completely.
If it'll be a completely new experience, or if it'll be kind of a continuation of the current Zelda, the Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I really hope the latter, because I'm on record as saying that I think this is the best looking Zelda to date, or my the best looking game ever. I think I've said on multiple occasions. I really love the art style, and I mean, sure, there are some muddy textures here and there, but I really love how it looks.
Yeah,
and I would be totally up for another game in this style.
Love to see a world that's a little bit more populated.
Sure,
I think that's and with proper dungeons.
Yeah, I think that those are pretty much the key points.
Yeah, and I think those were the points that most people had with them, that the dungeons weren't really up to Zelda standard, traditional Zelda standard.
No, they weren't.
So I'm sure that that's something that they will be working on.
Yeah. I mean, now that they have this super solid foundation, I would really like to see them. I don't care if they reuse some of the assets, and just if they do it in the same way they did with Majora's Mask, which completely feels like its own game.
Yeah.
That would be great if that allows for a shorter development cycle. And if that would allow for another Zelda game within this console's life cycle, that would be terrific.
I'm sure they're gunning for a Switch release with how successful Switch has been this year, and how big the install base is versus the Wii U.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. I really hope they do, and I would really I bet that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And a user on Resetera called Brainchild, he's made this thread on all of the technology that's going on behind the scenes with the Breath of the Wild engine. And they're really doing a whole bunch of impressive. I mean, I don't understand most of it, but if it's explained to me in layman's terms, I can at least appreciate it. And it's a really sophisticated engine, so I would think that they're gonna use it again.
Yeah.
And if they can give the world an interesting twist in the way that they did with Majora's Mask, that would be really cool.
Do you think we'll finally get our first female Link? Or is that never, ever going to happen?
I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, it could happen, but Nintendo seems, for this franchise, Nintendo seems to be pretty set on having Link be Link and having Zelda be Zelda.
Yeah, they introduced Linkle. in Zelda Hyrule Warriors. Female Link.
Yeah, in a totally non-canonical spin-off, so I wouldn't attach too much value to that. I'm personally, I understand that people would be interested in playing a female Link. I would prefer having Zelda play a more active part in the story.
Well, that could work as well. Just have Zelda rescue Prince Link, for example.
I don't feel like we, in this established franchise, that we necessarily have to turn the roles around. I would rather see Nintendo doing a new franchise with a female protagonist. Is it necessary to flip it around?
I don't know. I know that there's lots of fans that have been asking for it. So I don't know. I know that Nintendo's always been kind of weird about it too.
I don't think they've been weird about it. How exactly have they been?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just the fact that Linkle does exist, but then at the same time they say that Link would never be female.
Well, Linkle exists in a Warriors game
mm-hmm.
that's made by different people.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, Nintendo has to sign off on that too.
Yeah, but I mean, the story doesn't connect in any way to anything.
Sure, that's true.
It's a spin-off title.
Sure.
I don't think Nintendo's been weird about it at all. Like, I think people, Nintendo, when people talk about a female Link, it's like this was a big thing last year. I think when Nintendo was asked if that would ever happen, Aonuma said, "No, we think that Link is a boy," and people got upset about that. I think, but I mean, it's okay, right? To have Link remain Link and have Zelda remain Zelda. What I mean is that I look, I can see that that some people would find like the image of the boy saving the princess and the princess being helpless to defend herself, that some people might now see that as a little bit more well, not necessarily problematic, but it might be interesting to do something with that.
Yeah.
And
flip
to
expectations.
Yeah. Although I think that Zelda has been fairly decent at that for a while now. I mean, if you look back at Ocarina of Time, you had Sheik, who was, spoilers, obviously Princess Zelda.
Yeah.
So she wasn't quite helpless in that game. I mean, I can understand the criticism of the boy having to go out and save the princess, but I don't know. I don't think that Nintendo is necessarily bad at their portrayal of Zelda.
Fair enough.
In this game too, I thought that Zelda was probably the most interesting character.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So yeah, no, I mean, I would be. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they flipped it around, but I don't feel like the need to do that particular thing to move the series forward.
Yeah.
Well, if you have strong feelings about this, please write to us at Game Honey Game.
Yeah, we got a little bit of track there, but in any case, I'm excited to see what the new Zelda will be.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna get freaky weird,
freaky deaky. Maybe those space aliens will make a return.
Yeah, if they do something really weird with it, just like Majora's Mask, a big moon with a face.
Well, Majora's Mask also had aliens kidnapping the cows from Lon Lon.
No, I guess that's true. Yeah,
which was kind of weird when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, but Zelda does like getting pretty weird.
Yeah,
Zelda's a whole bunch of really weird characters.
Zelda loves getting
NPCs.
Freaky.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what you've been playing. You've opened. Well, you've not opened up your Christmas presents yet, I guess.
Well, I did, but
you've opened them up, but
yet.
You've not put them inside.
Oh yeah. But I did finish a game this week, namely Wolfenstein 2. And
okay, how was it?
Boy, was it a ride. I played the first one Like the in this series, what was it called again? So this is the new Colossus,
The
New Order.
New Blood, the Old Blood,
No, that was the
New Order,
DLC for
the New
New
Order.
Order.
Yeah.
And I remember enjoying the New Order, but it was kind of all right. It's all right. Not being particularly blown away by it. But this one, holy shit, it is like fucking shocker after shocker, and there's actual like story, and it's funny, but it's also like really kind of poignant, and it has laughs and ups and downs. It's completely over the top. It is completely over the top, but it's also still
Grounded in its own universe.
yeah, and it has poignant political points to make. It has human connections that it kind of goes deeper into, and it's such a fucking weird game when you think about it. Like, this shouldn't work at all. It's
This game about shooting Nazis.
it's a game about shooting Nazis, and yeah, I'd definitely play it if you have the chance, because
From
like,
what it sounds to me, like most of the praise that this game is getting seems to come from the story, and what you're telling me now seems to also indicate that. What
Yeah.
you think about the gameplay?
The gameplay was all right. I did have a bunch of really frustrating points where I would be stuck at a point where like a checkpoint, and I just had to try like 10. In one case, I think I had to try like 10 or 15 times because I kept getting killed, and sometimes that does make the game feel a little bit unfair. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to deal with this many enemies? But then you pull it off, and it's like, yeah. And the guns all feel nice, and they have fun. They have the standard shotgun and machine gun, but they also have like the futuristic laser weapons and whatnot, which are a lot of fun to play around with.
Yeah, I imagine we see more of them. What you see in the prologue, which I played because it's a free download. You in the prologue or in the first level, you have like this scientist in the lab. I don't remember what he's called, but he's made all of these traps in your base, and you see the Nazis walking through and just being completely obliterated.
Yeah,
I assume that there are a few weapons. That have a
there's
similar
like
effect.
one laser weapon that is essentially an insta kill that just blows people up when it hits, which is a lot of fun. There's I really want to talk about it, but I feel that I would spoil a lot.
I've read, by the way, I've read people say that don't be ashamed to play this on easy mode. And
no, I played it on normal. And like I said, I did have a couple of instances where I was like, this is getting frustrating. But I managed to get through in the end. Because I think from the start there's like 5 levels of difficulty or something. I think there's even a 6th.
Yeah, I think it's a classic sort of setup where you have don't hurt me, daddy, and you have your avatar
with baby
with baby attire.
Yeah, yeah. It's don't play this if you are a casual. A filthy casual, a casual gamer. Definitely don't feel ashamed to play this on normal or easy, because I think you'll get more enjoyment out of it that way. I enjoyed it a lot with some of the frustrating things, and I played it on normal, and I'm definitely no pro FPS player. But yeah, the story itself is just, again, I want to talk about it really bad, but I really feel that you should play it for yourself, because I knew that
I will.
Yeah, I knew that this game was kind of like because it's like alternate history and the Nazis have like super tech. So I knew that it was gonna kind of sci-fi ish. But then there's stuff that happens that you're like, what the that can't. But that can't be right. That can't happen. And then you're like, well, fuck it. I'll go with it. And they just
All right.
throw a couple of those at you. And yeah, I like it. Definitely play it.
Yeah, yeah, I will. Like it's not the first one looked pretty interesting to me as well. I actually gave it as a present to a friend of mine, so I watched him play through most of it, and it looked good. But I didn't never really felt moved to play it myself.
Yeah.
This one I do want to check out, but I didn't think that it's half price right now. I'm on the PlayStation Store right now. That seems like the right amount to pay for that game. $30.
Definitely.
And I already have it. I already have it downloaded because when you download that first level, it downloads it basically preloads the entire game.
Oh,
so I could just unlock it right now.
Playing.
Yeah,
very nice.
That sounds pretty tempting.
Do it. Yeah, and then definitely let me know what you think about all the plot twists. Yeah, there were a couple that I was like, okay, how the fuck are they? This is not real, is it? Is this what they're actually gonna go with? And then you're like, okay, that's kind of awesome. Okay, let's fucking do this.
Okay.
Please
I'll
play
check
it because I want to talk about it.
Check it out.
Yeah,
I might wait until after I've gotten a little bit into The Evil Within 2, which I still have waiting for me. I kind of want to get into that.
That one's good too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really... Xenoblade 2 doesn't really lend itself to...
to quick play sessions.
Yeah, so... Yeah, maybe The Evil Within 2 would be better for a quick play, for a quick sesh.
Yeah. Quick sesh.
Did you play anything else?
I played some more Okami, which is still fucking great. Definitely play that if you haven't. It's my first time playing, and yeah, I think I mentioned it last time, but whimsical is the best description I can give it, and it really is. It is funny, and it is beautiful, and it's great. I think I'm barking up
I gotta get
the familiar
that too.
tree here, but I don't know. I don't think that's how you use that phrase, but anyway, you know what I mean.
Howling at a familiar
moon. I'm still kind of sick. So I played that, and then I also played a little bit, only like an hour or so of Shadow of War after I finished Wolfenstein, but I haven't really played enough of it yet to really say anything about it. Also, I was yesterday when I was really kind of sick, so I haven't really gotten.
It might have been a dream.
Impression of it yet.
You may have bought 100 loot boxes while you were hallucinating.
I may or may not have given a lot of money to Warner Brothers games. Yeah, and then after I played that a little bit, I got Xenoblade 2, so I'm like, well, I'm only an hour into Shadow of War, so maybe I should just put that aside and play Xenoblade 2 now.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
And do Shadow of War later. So convince me that I have to play Xenoblade 2 now.
Oh, I don't know if I can. I mean, I'm enjoying my time with it.
Okay,
that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not in love with it still. I have to admit I didn't play that much more since we last spoke. I'm less than 20 hours into it, which I think for this game is really not that much. I feel like I'm still I'm still getting tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive. But the gameplay is fun. It's getting a little bit. I think I've now come to grips with most of the systems that are in there, and I feel like I have a pretty decent understanding of them now. So that's fun. The battle system is fun. But the story still feels like it's sort of starting up. And after 20 hours, so go figure. I mean, a bunch of stuff is happening.
Yeah.
I'm now in. I think I'm nearing the end of the 3rd chapter.
How many chapters
And
are there?
I don't know actually, but I'm guessing a whole bunch more.
Okay.
And I'm now mostly playing it at home on the big display, so I don't have the frame rate issues that the portable version has.
Yeah.
And it for the most part it looks pretty good. I remember being more impressed with the previous entries though. But maybe I'm sure they have a whole bunch more interesting locations coming up. So we'll see how that goes. It's insanely. I mean, I feel like I say this every week now, but it's full anime. You can't go more anime with a game if you tried.
I remember that one of our podcasts was titled "Never Go Full Anime."
And they did. They did.
Well,
but it's not like it's the character design is still dumb for Pyra, the lead female character.
Yeah.
My girlfriend kind of rolls her eyes every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
Because as video game donkey put it in a video of his, why are her breasts bigger than her head? Which I think is a pretty good point.
Well, that is good for balancing. No, it probably isn't.
Probably just terrible back problems.
Yeah. Oh,
I took a couple interesting screenshots, so you'll know what I mean if I upload those. It's a good game. It's so far it's fine. I'm enjoying playing it, and it's what I said last time is it's even though it's so completely anime, it's kind of gives you a warm fuzzy feeling, even though it piles trope. It piles one trope on top of the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of enjoyable and sweet.
Yeah.
In a way. So it's kind of comfortable to play in that sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I never feel dissatisfied playing it.
It's a good old JRPG like the old days
pretty
in that
much.
sense.
Even though the combat system is 100 times more complicated.
Okay.
But and maybe a little bit more complicated than it needs to be.
But is it enjoyable?
Yeah, it's enjoyable. I think it takes too much time to really get rolling.
Okay.
And they the way they explain it is a little bit heavy-handed.
Yeah, tutorials at the 20-hour mark. That
yeah. Like
so you're new to this
for
game.
For some of those, I thought that shouldn't I be able to do these already? Like I remember moves from the previous games, where I thought that I would already be able to pull these off, but they come like much farther down the road. Yeah.
Okay.
It is what it is.
So great.
One other game I played.
I'll be starting on that game.
It is what it is. Yeah, put that in the box.
Okay.
Another game I played and finished actually is Steamworld Dig 2, which is
isn't that it's a Minecraft-ish game, right?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you dig.
Yeah.
You can dig down, but it's more like a dungeon crawler. No, it's not really the right word for it either. Basically, what you do is you dig down, and you do have a set mission. You have a story, so you have your goal marked on the map, and you dig your way down towards it.
Okay.
And it's a really well-made little indie title. It looks very nice. It plays nice. It's just good. People seem to like this one a whole lot, and I think it's just a good game. The mechanics were fun, but I never really felt that they were anything other than just regular old fun.
Well, sometimes that's all you need, right?
I guess. And it's more than enough. I had a good time playing it. I finished it in about 6 or 7 hours, I think. So for the $20 I spent on it, I think it's it's a totally fine game.
Doesn't reinvent the wheel, but good old fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fair.
So it has a whole bunch of fans. I wouldn't run out to get it if I were you. But if you're looking for something to play on your Switch, it's a solid choice.
Okay. Yeah, I heard a lot about it, and I heard good things about it as well. But I always figured it was kind of like a 2D Minecraft in the vein of Terraria.
I never played Terraria.
Me either, but I just know it's a 2D Minecraft where you dig down and...
You certainly do dig down.
Oh, yeah.
You get minerals and you can upgrade your shit.
That's all I need to know. You can dig.
It's in the title.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So, I guess that's all we've been playing for this week.
Yeah.
We'll be doing our Game of the Year show next week.
Oh.
By the way, so be sure to tune in for that.
Oh, yes.
We also have a poll currently underway on our Twitter at GameHoneyGame, where you can vote for your Game of the Year. Sadly, Twitter only allows for 4 options, so we included Zelda, Mario, Horizon, and Nier Automata, which I sort of decided were the forerunners for Game of the Year. But if you have
presumptuous of you,
if your choice isn't on there, be sure to comment.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot
it's not
of
gonna
people
win.
Comment Persona on it already. So,
well, two of them. So that's
I saw
something.
more than that, but
yeah, there's some shout-outs to Persona, some for Yakuza 0, which is sort of an outlier. Right now, Horizon is leading by what I think is 1 vote. Second being The Legend of Zelda.
Come on, vote for Zelda.
Well, you can vote for whatever you want.
All right.
But there's only one right choice.
Vote for Star Wars Battlefront 2.
You.
Yeah, I've been thinking maybe we should put up like a poll for worst game of the year, but
biggest disappointment. That would be
yeah.
That'd be a good one.
We'll have to think of some other games to put on there as well.
Yeah, so the Game Honey poll isn't really scientific. I mean, I'm sure you can use all of your alternative Twitter accounts as well to to spam us to make sure that your game ends out on top. But maybe
20 extra accounts.
Maybe don't do that. Just keep it sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Get in there. Get up in that poll.
Oh yeah.
Get up on that poll.
I think that's all from the gaming side of things.
Yes.
So I want to talk some Star Wars.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen The Last Jedi yet, and you want to see it and you don't want to be spoiled, now would be a good time to tune out. Let's just do the intro here. Thank you very much for listening. This was Game Honey. You can write us by sending your email fingers to game.honeys@gmail.com. You can also tweet at us at GameHoneyGame. You can find me at KumaGumaPolar. You can find PandaWare
at Tayo Inc.
You sure can. And with that, thank you very much for listening. And here's some ranting about Star Wars.
Yeah. So, continuing on from last week, you showed your girlfriend all of the Star Wars movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You were halfway through Return of the Jedi. Last time we spoke.
Yeah, the saga continues this week.
What did you think?
So I posted this on Twitter already, but after we finished 7, I think, she said that, yeah, I like Star Trek better.
Well,
So
I
I
mean,
created
we
a
can't all
monster.
be wrong. We can't all be right. I mean, God damn it.
But obviously, she's only seen the most recent Star Treks, so she saw the
Yeah, you should
the
show
Chris
her like
Pine
the
reboots.
60s.
I think we watched one version, one episode of Voyager.
Mhm.
I think it's just
looks
it's
old.
just this looks old. Yeah,
I hate it.
actually, that's what I said. It just looks terrible. I mean, I'm sure it's still fun, but I haven't really mustered the courage to dive into that wormhole myself. But yeah, she it didn't really gel with her. 4, 5, and 6,
All right.
and I can kind of see it if you see it now for the first time as an adult, and you don't have much experience watching older movies, and you're sort of used to the Hollywood glamour and the CG, and everything looks beautiful, and the explosions are big, and it's all bombastic.
I mean, the space battle in Return of the Jedi still really holds up, effect wise. I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, that looks good. It does, but in the other movies, it doesn't. I mean, it's all right. If you it does look kind of old.
I agree to disagree. Okay, but she
I
she
mean-
also didn't like what did she
Yeah.
not like about 7 then? Because that's all bombastic and
Yeah,
lots
it's
of effects.
too much fighting.
Okay.
All fighting
Yeah,
all the time.
The Star
But she
Wars,
did-
the wars part in Star Wars.
She did find it more exciting than
Okay.
the old ones.
Okay.
So we had that covered, and we went to see 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I really didn't like it.
Well, you are sort of with me in the grumpy old, disgruntled, old 30, 40-something Star Wars fans.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, first off, why don't you last week you told me that you liked it.
Overall, I liked it, I think. Yeah. I'm still I've only seen it the one time. And I've been kind of trying to read and listen to some arguments that people have made left and right about why it is or isn't a good movie. And kind of the vibe that I'm getting is that if you don't like the movie, you're an old curmudgeon from the old generation, that grew up with the original movies, and this movie isn't made for you. And
Well, maybe those
yeah.
maybe those people exist. I guess those people, the people that criticism is leveled against, probably disagree with the way they handled Luke.
Well, so okay. For me, I thought that overall Luke was super interesting in this movie. I think they handled Luke really well overall. I do think it's very interesting to see him be kind of disillusioned with I like, on the one hand I feel it is kind of out of character because he is like the hope of the universe, and he never gave up in the original trilogy. He converted Darth Vader back to the light side of the Force,
Yeah.
and now he fails one kid and he just is like, yeah, whatever, see you later.
Yep.
But all right. Okay, so they did go down that path, and I do think it's an interesting one to look at, and I think that the way they went with him, that they overall they did a good job with it. That being said, again, we're really going into spoiler territory here. Just a warning, if you haven't seen it, spoilers from here on out. I didn't like that he dies in the end. I really didn't. And I've been reading some stuff, and people are like, "Yeah, well, if you're old, you're just bummed out that Luke died because, yeah, you're old." Essentially, kind of. I guess the idea is that people that grew up with Luke as their hero, kind of identified with him, perhaps, and those people are maybe now in their kind of midlife crisis ish age groups.
I mean,
and they see Luke is a failure, and maybe that reflects poorly. But I do think that there's an argument to be made that Luke's whole arc kind of, he started as like the savior of the galaxy and kind of just ended up as not. He kind of ends up as a failure.
That's one of the big. That's what we can now safely say after seeing this part, is that the old guard is really not that important to this trilogy.
No,
I don't
at
think
the same time,
this is not my major complaint with the movie, but I feel like they don't have a lot of reverence for what made the old trilogy great.
No, and I do
Han,
think that's
Leia, and Luke, and I think that's a. If I just to finish this thought, I think it's kind of bizarre that we never saw Luke and Han together.
Yeah.
They're best friends, and Han just dies in 7, and Luke
he is really bummed
Leia
about it.
some dice. He's a little. He's bummed for like 1 minute. He gives Leia some dice, and that's it.
Ghost dice.
Yeah, ghost dice. I really feel that those characters could have been handled better. I didn't like it very much when Han died in 7, because the first time we see him with his son, he's killed immediately. Well, I didn't really feel a strong connection.
So Han was always going to die in 7.
Because, that's what he wanted, right?
Yeah, so when they were making Return of the Jedi, Lawrence Kasdan, the writer on Empire and Return of the Jedi and on The Force Awakens, as well as Harrison Ford, said that they wanted to kill off Han, but Lucas stepped in and said no. So for Force Awakens, it was Kasdan and Ford, but no Lucas. So yeah, they were going to kill Harrison Ford. They were going to kill Han Solo.
That's fine.
So that
but
was always going to happen.
I wish that they brought Luke back then for that. Or I wish that Han would have died a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, to me, so I knew that they were going to kill Han in 7, which sucked. But I guess it made sense in the story, sort of. I have my own issues with the whole death surrounding it, which I'll get to in a bit. But so they killed them in 7. And then, of course, tragically, Carrie Fisher passed away in real life. And I seem to recall that they sort of said that they wouldn't kill Leia, like out of respect, that they wouldn't just write in, "Oh, Leia's dead now." So I kind of assumed that Leia was safe, and that she'll, within the canon, probably goes off to fight somewhere else, maybe. That's how they explain why she's not in the movie instead of just killing her off screen. But now that they've killed Luke, it just really feels like it's just for shock value. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Like at the end of 7, we kill off Han. And at the end of 8, we kill off Luke. And then if Carrie Fisher had been alive, I am pretty sure that they would have killed her in 9. Because there was like the foreshadowing here where Kylo Ren couldn't kill his mother. And then like one of his lackeys tries to, and she does the Force Superman thing, which was a little bit weird.
Which was fucking weird, yeah.
Yeah, the CG did not look good on that.
It was just, we remember that Leia has the Force. and this is
Yeah,
the first time that you're really gonna see her use it.
I mean that on that part of the Force. That just shall we go to go on to the Force because I do
Well,
have some issues with the Force as well.
Can I? To me, it's not like those like my biggest issue with the movie is not that that power levels that the Dragon Ball Z power levels are out of whack.
Yeah.
It's more that I think it's an extremely bloated movie. I think it's too long. I think it's boring. And I think that there are way too many characters. And they don't do anything meaningful. They don't contribute to anything. I think the movie should have been focused on Rey, Kylo Ren, and Luke. And I think Poe Dameron, and Finn, their arcs are useless at best and just really poorly written at worst.
Yeah, as someone pointed out for Finn that like in 7 he runs away and then at the end he stands up and fights for his friend. Mm-hmm. And then at the beginning of this movie it starts all over because he's running away. And then at the end of the movie he's about to sacrifice himself, but he's kind of saved.
Jesus, oh my God! I don't know which story I find more insulting. I think Poe's story is really dumb because I think for the record, I like both characters. I like them both in The Force Awakens. I think they're fun. I think it's kind of weird that Finn is a programmed soldier, trained and programmed from birth. But the moment he takes off the mask, he's a completely normal dude, and he just talks like a regular human being. But if you can get past that, he's a fun character. But Poe had nothing to do in this movie, so Leia had to go into a coma, and then this other character had to what's she called? Purple hair lady.
Laura Dern's character,
Holdo. Yeah, Holdo. Admiral Holdo pretended like she didn't have a plan, so Poe got upset and he fucking incited a mutiny that could have killed more of their own, and only to figure out later that there was a plan. She just didn't tell him, and she just made it seem like there wasn't. So it was a completely pointless arc.
Yeah, Holdo could have been cut out completely, and it wouldn't have changed the story at all.
Poe probably could have been cut out completely. He should have done something with Finn.
The role of Poe in this movie is that he is sort of the anti-Luke he is sort of kind of the criticism of Luke in A New Hope, where Luke just goes in by himself without his targeting computer and saves everyone. But here, Poe goes in on his own and then gets a whole bunch of dudes killed. So it's.
He does succeed in his mission, though.
But at what price?
Yeah, I guess we learned that in this movie that you shouldn't sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Because Rose's sister sacrifices herself, and that's not the right thing to do, apparently. And then Rose herself, she saves Finn, who tries to save the entire rebellion by flying into the mini Death Star. And she tells him that we fight for what we love. And she says this to Finn as the entire rebel base is about to be blown to shit. And all her friends are about to die because she stopped Finn.
Yeah.
I thought, Finn, if I can just finish my story on
go
why
ahead.
I thought Finn was terrible, is, he obviously had nothing to do in the movie, so he had to go to this CG horse farm, casino planet, and he picked up. They were gonna look for a code breaker. They found some other guy who betrayed them and who then ratted them out, which resulted in half the remaining rebel fleet being decimated, which is not a point that they ever touched upon after that. It was just a completely pointless endeavor, which I had no fun watching that scene unfold.
No.
In the casino. I
No,
thought
that's what
it didn't match the tone of the
kind
movie.
of saying. The first third of the movie, I didn't like the whole casino planet thing. I was not into at all.
No.
Um, which, yeah, it felt almost like felt more like a marketing thing where all these different aliens that we can all make into figures.
But by the way, didn't you get the sense that they were trying to make it a Marvel movie?
You mean like a cosmic, all sorts of weird characters running around kind of thing?
Not necessarily that, but they tried to be funny at like every opportunity.
There were a lot of
like something would happen and someone would make a quip or a snide remark.
Yeah, and
like the way it started, I thought it was pretty terrible.
Cringy, the
with
hold the phone.
Yeah, oh my god. I thought, is this what we're going to have to put up with?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that either. Although I do have to give the caveat that watching in a Japanese theater might not help because like in Japan, people are always very quiet in theaters. I wonder if I had watched it in like a more lively theater, if I would have been swept up in it more.
I didn't think it was funny.
No, I didn't really think so either, but I wanted to think it was funny.
I think a lot of the jokes fell flat for me.
Yeah. No, there were I definitely didn't think it was as funny as previous Star Wars movies.
But it tried much harder and like everybody wanted to be a Han Solo.
Yeah. It's there. I feel like there was a lot of things that I felt very nitpicky about that I would have done differently. For one, I just thought it was really weird that how they did it as a chase scene, and that's something that plays into like the whole movie is a chase movie. The whole movie is just a chase. And they're like, well, we have 18 hours or something left before they catch up to us, before we're out of gas or whatever, space fuel. But within the greater lore, it's always taken like...
Here we go.
Yeah, it's always taken like
Expanded
days
universe.
or weeks to travel through hyperspace. And now they just, like, we have 18 hours. You guys go get something on a planet that we don't really know where the fuck it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like,
I thought that was kind of weird, too. Yeah, like
18,
everything.
That's take days.
But
at
from
best.
Everything from that point onwards, it was so clear that these characters had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So here, we are giving you this mission so that you have something to do in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't go into a movie thinking that and wanting to sort of pick it apart, but I really couldn't escape that.
No,
feeling.
the whole casino planet could have been left out, and they could have just snuck on board some other way. Just say,
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
we our astromech droid hacked the system. We have a 10-second window. Make it an action scene where they're shot through a torpedo or something with a torpedo, an empty torpedo. They get inside and they're shot into the other ship, and you have like a 2-3 minute cool action scene, and you can cut out the whole casino planet.
And have Poe and Finn do it together, so Poe doesn't have to have a stupid arc on the ship itself. I mean, on the other hand, do you want to see another break-in of a super weapon or an enemy ship? It's all pretty. I mean, it's everything about the new trilogy is a retread. I feel like they pretend like they're breaking away with this movie, but it's still all the same motifs.
Yeah, if you put it like that, I suppose that there is definitely that angle to it.
I think that's part of that is on J.J. Abrams, because he decided that exactly the same thing would be happening in the new trilogy, being that, well, I guess the Empire's back now, and we have the Rebels, and they're running again.
It's another thing that I was kind of wondering about, because in The Force Awakens, like the First Order is a big organization, but they're not the ones in charge. The New Republic is in charge. And they blew up, granted, they blew up like the main planet that the seat of the New Republic is on. But still, the entire galactic-wide new governing organization is just gone. Is just reduced to like the 3 ships that there are at the beginning of the movie. I was like, really? Is that was the super weapon that good?
Yep.
Like, they blew up 5 planets or something.
It's just the Empire versus the Rebels again.
Yeah, and it felt a little bit like I missed something. Like, really? I think we have more ships than this.
I think what Disney is doing is they're luring back the old fans by having the old cast in these new movies. But what they're really doing is just rebooting it for people who've never seen the old movies.
Yeah, I feel that it's different enough in setup, but I guess the overarching sort of motifs definitely are similar. I do like the idea of a Star Wars movie that's sort of themed around failure, because it is not always going to go your way, and I do like the idea of characters having to kind of deal with the fact that
wasn't Episode 5 pretty much that? Like,
yeah,
Han got captured at the end, Luke got his hand cut off.
Yeah. And I think that 5 did that really well. I've seen a lot of articles go up like, at the time 5 wasn't reviewed well at all either, but now it's the favorite, so maybe 8 will become the favorite with enough time.
But I don't think that's true, because 8 is, like, you agree with me, right? That 8 is super bloated, and the Poe and the Finn stories are completely unnecessary.
I did feel a bunch of times like, oh, so the movie's over. Oh no, wait, it's not over yet.
Yeah, but I mean, more than that, I think a lot of it is just bad writing, and I don't think that Empire suffers from that.
No, I agree with you there. I think that the creative team on Empire did an amazing job, and yeah, I also feel that you can't really say that without being like, oh well, you're just a snob or something.
No, but I don't think that's true, because what I said about Poe and Finn, I really think if you look at it objectively, you can make a very strong case for their storylines being not contributing anything to the movie itself, only adding to its runtime and making the plot itself less believable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what did you think about Snoke, by the way?
I thought that was a overall bold move. But
he certainly was bald.
I don't know. It kind of feels like a wasted opportunity on one hand, but on the other hand, it felt unexpected in a sort of good way.
Yeah. It felt to me like they sort of realized that Snoke was a pretty stupid character in Episode 7.
Yeah.
They probably thought, like, what are we going to do with this guy? Like, he's just another Darth Sidious. And, I mean, Darth Sidious, the Emperor, worked because this is the first time we're seeing that universe, and apparently there's an Emperor, and he's really powerful. But now we're 30 years into the future, and apparently there's a dude that looks exactly like him. And he's again this super evil guy.
Yeah.
But he's just there, and we're just sort of supposed to accept that. So rather than sort of explain that, they just killed him off, which I thought was okay. I thought the way that they showed it was super obvious what was going to happen. I mean, we know that Vader threw the Emperor down a shaft, and we see Kylo Ren looking at Rey and looking at Snoke, and then we see the lightsaber twisting, and it's obvious what's going to happen. But all right, he's dead, and then Kylo Ren, in the end, he just goes full space Nazi anyway. I thought that was like the least interesting direction that they could have taken that character.
Well, it would have been a cop-out if they had made him a good guy.
Well, maybe it would have been more interesting if Rey actually joined him.
Yeah, but would they really? That would have been a bit too risky, I think.
Probably not. Probably not. But I mean, now he's just evil again.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely like, oh, he's gonna go good, and maybe struggle with it, but then no, just evil. Just evil. Yeah. But speaking of Kylo Ren and Rey, real quick, I wasn't too big of a fan of the new Force powers that are in the movie.
Oh, the communication thing.
For one, the communication thing. I don't mind the Force powers like that on its own, but they were introduced so nonchalantly, like they had always been there. While it would have been
what exactly do you
really
refer
handy,
to?
like the communication one, that would have been fucking handy to have. Like, don't tell me Yoda doesn't know about that in the prequels. If that's like a normal thing, if that's a normal Force power, then Yoda would probably have known about that. That would have been really fucking handy during the Clone Wars, for example. Jedi being able to talk to each other.
I didn't. That didn't bother me that much. It was something that Snoke did, right?
Yeah, I guess, but it's so nonchalantly introduced. I don't mind it being introduced. I don't mind it on its own. I just wish they weren't so. I wish they had given a bit more context to it, I suppose. Like, this is a new thing. This is really weird and an unprecedented power or something. Everyone's just very nonchalant about it, I feel.
I felt like Kylo Ren and Rey were both pretty surprised when it happened. I thought it was portrayed okay. I actually that was really not a part that bothered me all that much. I mean, there's always been inside the series. You always had people like that could sense each other's presence, right? So I just saw this as an extension of that.
The other thing, the other Force power for me was the astral projection at the end.
Yeah.
Which I get why they did it, so Luke could buy everyone time to escape. So I guess the goal was good, but it felt like a real letdown to me, honestly. That is what kills Luke. I feel like really he wouldn't just get on the ship with them or fix his own X-Wing. We see it underwater, but it felt like really that kills him. That kills him. Astral projection. I guess I get that it's like really intense, but I don't know. It felt like such a like I said before, it just felt that Luke's death just really felt like shock value for the shock value.
Yeah, with the whole letting the past die thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind the fact that Luke is gone that much. I would have liked for him to stick around, but you know what I said earlier. What bothered me a little bit is that we never got any good character moments with the three of them, with Leia, Luke, and Han.
One more thing about that.
I don't know
why. One thing that really bothered me in 7. Again, this is a lore thing, but Wookiees have something called a Wookiee rage, where they just go fuck all friend and they rip out arms and shit.
Yeah.
And Chewbacca was kind of pissed when Han died, but nothing close to seeing like the guy who freed him from the Empire, who was his friend and we had pledged his life to for decades. He was just kind of like, whatever.
And when they come back to the Rebel base, Leia goes to hug Rey instead of Chewbacca.
And Chewbacca just kind of wanders off.
Like, have these people seen Star Wars?
and then in this movie, Luke is like, "Oh, hey, Chewie." super casual.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's so
I guess
it's so
you're here too.
obvious. It's so obviously not about the old guard.
Yeah, but then
Still, it's I feel like you should have put a little more effort behind that. If you're gonna trot all of these people out on stage, if you have them doing these panels, and they're just kind of played off.
What really kind of bothered me was like he was like, "Oh, hey Chewie, where's Han?" "Oh yeah, Han's dead." "Oh, I'm sad about that." But then later on, R2 comes out, and Luke gets all sort of emotional over meeting R2 again. "Hey, old friend. Oh, it's so good seeing you." I mean, sure, like the droids are like actual persons sort of in these movies, but really, Chewie gets really fucked over in these movies. It really kind of bothers me.
Yeah,
Like
Chewie hardly exists in this movie.
Yeah, like really, come on, a little bit of respect for Chewbacca. Come on, such bullshit.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with you actually. Yeah, like again, my main problems with the film were mostly like structural. The way it was written, the way it incorporates way too many characters, and it doesn't do anything interesting with them. Yeah, but yeah, also the way that they hardly even attempt to do anything with the old guard is kind of disappointing as well. But not my main crux with the movie.
I do feel that Luke definitely deserved a better ending. I was really hoping that he would survive until at least the next one, and then continue kind of teaching Rey, and maybe getting sort of a redemption through that. But they're really like, no, we're just gonna kill him because that's shocking.
Yeah. Apparently,
and people
Mark Hamill
online were like,
didn't
"Oh,
agree.
it's such a beautiful death. It's so great because he's looking at two suns."
Jesus Christ!
Like in the beginning of 4. So it's great. I'm like, no.
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
I was not a fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw people also bring up that the whole casino scene was like an Attack of the Clones type of situation, and I think that's pretty accurate with all of the crazy CG monsters.
Yeah. The whole horse thing, and then they release all the horses, and then like what Rose is like, "Oh, it was worth it." And I was like, "No, you're supposed to be here on a mission that you can possibly make in time." To save the rebellion.
And you found a different guy, which leads to the decimation of half your fleet, you fucking idiot. And it's something that they don't touch upon. That's just bad writing.
No, but it's good because this movie is about how there is no light and dark anymore. And Benicio del Toro is not light and dark either.
It's so nihilistic.
Yeah.
Everybody should just die.
I'll admit that talking to you does kind of make me a little bit less positive about the movie on a whole, because we're kind of pointing at the negative sides of the movie. But I did like parts of it. I thought that the battle on Crate, it looked really good, really cool, and most of the characters, as characters, I thought were pretty nice. They just weren't used properly. And yeah, I did have fun with it.
The actors all handing good performances.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but
by the way, like Rey and Finn don't have. Do they have? Oh, they have one scene together, right? Where they hug at the end.
Yeah.
And so, but now Finn needs to get a different love interest, which I don't know. I don't know how you felt about that, but I didn't really feel it going that way. I mean, when they were going out on that adventure together. Obviously, that was what was going to happen, but yeah, just the whole. I don't know what's going on with that in the whole relationship angle.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get any. There weren't particularly any sparks flying between Rey and Finn in the first movie, but I feel like it still would have made more sense than what seems to be happening with Rose. I don't know, but I guess Poe and Rey are now gonna hook up. I don't know, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's I do like that they did try some new stuff. But yeah, overall, especially from Rian Johnson, who made Looper and whatnot, like movies that are really feel very tight and well crafted. This felt very loose and kind of all over the place.
Yeah, and one thing I was wondering is whether any of it was pre-planned, like the way this trilogy would be constructed. But apparently Rian Johnson said no. He had to basically figure it all out, where these threads that were set out by J.J. Abrams, where he was going to take them, which is, I think, why they went a completely different direction than many people expected, like the way Luke just threw away the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill said that he didn't agree with the direction that Rian Johnson was taking the character.
Yeah, he walked that back though. He said, "No, I
mean, it's his view." He said, but he says that it's like diametrically opposed to what he would see Luke doing.
Yeah, and I feel that, like I mentioned in the beginning, I do agree with that. I don't think that this is what Luke would do, but I did think that it was an interesting direction to take it in, and overall that they did a good job with it, up until the end where he's like, well, I'll astral project and die.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like it really just fucking go over there.
He deserved a better death, and he should have had some more scenes with Leia. I don't know.
But then people are like, well, you're just old guard, and it needs to be rebooted for the new generation. And I don't know if I agree with that. But
I mean, but let's be fair. You have this opportunity. All of these actors were still alive. You have this opportunity to really tie it together in a really interesting fashion.
Yeah,
but I don't think that they're succeeding. I don't mind that the old characters are being killed off, but I would have liked to see it handled with a little bit more grace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've said it before, it feels like shock value more than story.
Yeah.
Look, we killed the past, just like we said in the movie. It was an actual line in the movie.
Whatever.
Kill the past. We did it.
Yeah. Well, you really didn't, because the exact same thing is happening still. It's still Rebels versus the Empire.
Yeah, but it's not the Emperor. It's now Darth Vader at the helm.
A Darth Vader fanboy.
But he doesn't.
Kylo Ren is.
No, he's not anymore because he doesn't have the helmet anymore.
Oh boy.
I feel like
he says, let's burn it all. It doesn't matter anymore. Let's burn it all down. But let's start by destroying the rebellion. That's what's different. You're still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Blah.
I think it would have been very interesting to kind of introduce the concept of Force users that aren't either Sith or Jedi. I think that's an interesting sort of aspect of the Force to kind of look into, because it's always been very binary. And while I feel
only a Sith deals in absolutes, my friend.
Yeah, I feel that has that can work for some of the stories that Star Wars has been up until this point, kind of the fairy tale-ish good versus evil kind of stories. But yeah, I do think that it could be interesting to look into more of the gray areas there and see that the world isn't all black and white. But yeah,
actually, that's what I was kind of hoping from 7 when you had Finn defecting from the First Order.
Yeah.
But they really don't. I mean, obviously 4, 5, and 6 were very, very simple movies from the outset. Just a plain good versus evil.
Good
battle.
versus evil, yeah.
And you sometimes get the feeling that they try to look at things a little bit more nuanced in these movies, like with Benicio del Toro's character, saying that it's all just war and whatever. Everybody
sells out for the right price, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. But if you just sort of drop that concept just there in the middle and don't do anything with it, you might as well not do it at all.
Yeah, it would have been great to see an episode 9 where Luke was still alive and kind of maybe setting up a new Jedi Order that isn't a Jedi Order but more a Force user order, where it's sort of all sorts of different Force users together towards the end of the movie. As a big finale, they finally succeed in setting up a world that isn't maybe not perfect, but it's not as binary as good and evil, as light side and dark side.
Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting.
Yeah, I think they could have done some cool shit with that. But
I think like Luke and Rey together were fun to watch, so I would have liked to see more of that.
Yeah.
But no room for that. If you also gotta have your CG horse races and casinos and sort of strange mutinies going on for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, Admiral Akbar dies off screen.
Yeah, what the fuck about that?
I literally turned to my wife and said, "What the fuck? Did they just kill Akbar off screen?"
Seriously, are they just trolling people?
I think they are.
But I'm not that vocal about Star Wars. I think 4, 5, and 6, I really like them as movies, but I'm not a super fan. But when I go and see these movies, I kind of, I was hoping to see the old heroes treated with care and respect, and you don't just fucking blow Admiral Akbar out of an airlock. It does feel like you're just trolling people.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to do a double take when I saw that. Where's Admiral Akbar? Oh, he's dead too.
I saw that. Oh, I guess he's fucking dead.
The hero admiral of the Battle of Endor. Oh yeah, no, he died.
He's gone. What the fuck?
He suffocated in space or burned to death or something.
Yeah. I thought Leia's scene was so dumb as well, by the way. Like, what was the point of that entire... the entire point of that scene was that she could go into a coma, so Poe Dameron had something to do.
Yeah.
Jesus. I think this movie is a mess.
Yeah, the more I talk to you about it, the more I'm starting to agree with you. Like, I wasn't completely positive about it. I had to do a lot of thinking about it, what I thought about it, because I really wanted to like it. And I do think there's enjoyable stuff in there, and I do think there's some interesting ideas in there. But yeah, the execution in the end,
it really falls flat. I rolled my eyes a bunch of times. I physically rolled my eyes in the theater.
So the real question that we all want the answer to is, what did your girlfriend think?
She
loved it.
She thought there was a lot going on. And yeah, basically she asked me, do boys think this is cool?
Okay.
So that sort of tipped me off in that she wasn't exactly in love with the movie.
Is this what boys watch when they get together? That was what boys touch their sensitive parts over?
Well, sometimes.
Oh,
Some people do, I'm sure.
C-3PO.
No, I mean she doesn't watch as many movies as I do, so like she's not as sensitive to some of those things that I point out about people not having something to do, but she basically said the same things like I don't why did they go over there and why did this character do that? Yeah, she didn't I don't know, she didn't really she didn't enjoy it that much either, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, my favorite out of the new movies is still Rogue One, which I thought was actually a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
The characters are pretty cardboard, but I thought what's her name? Jane Erso. I think it's amazing that I remember that.
Jyn Erso? Jyn, I think it was.
Well, there you go. I thought she worked well enough. And yeah, it showed us some new stuff. I liked that, actually. I thought The Force Awakens, I wanted to reserve judgment until I saw Episode 8 to see where it would take some of the things that were set out in The Force Awakens, because I thought The Force Awakens was way too much of a retread of Episode 4, but it turns out that they went nowhere. So yeah, I don't know, but I would rank this below The Force Awakens.
All right.
Because
would you rank it below or above the prequels?
Well, it's probably above the prequels. I'd say I haven't seen them. Like last time I haven't watched one in a long time now. But last time I watched two is like 3 years ago, and I mean the script writing and the acting in 2 and 3 is just really bad at times. Although I would say that The Last Jedi does give it a run for its money at times with, like, we fight for the things we love, not for what we hate or whatever. And even though, like, right behind you, your friends are about to be blown up because of something you did, I thought that was just absolutely moronic. But yeah, two, especially 2, they just... There's like a point in all 3 of those movies where they just dive off a cliff. And they don't really recover. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
The prequels?
Yeah, I guess you. I guess you hate them.
No, like I don't hate them. I don't hate them with the same fervor that some people do. I can definitely see that, especially Episode 1 is not a good movie.
Yeah, I loved it when I first saw it.
Yeah, me too.
I will say that this is my seeing Episode 8 is my least favorite movie-going experience when it comes to Star Wars, but that was only because...
it's only because you didn't watch the Clone Wars movie in theaters.
I did. Attack of the Clones. Oh well, no, not the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars animated movie. Holy shit. That one was horrible.
But when 1, 2, and 3 came out, I think I was still in middle school. Maybe in high school when Revenge of the Sith came out?
Yeah, it would have been around that time.
I found it all much easier to stomach, and I really wasn't very sensitive to bad writing in those times, so...
No, I think that's probably... As a kid, these movies are obviously different than now that we're nihilistic 30-somethings.
Well, I think we've just sort of developed a sense of quality is what I would like to call it.
Yeah, that maybe, yeah. Yeah. I'm very interested to see what will be done with Part 9, but Abrams is back on for...
I'm not, to be honest.
For 9, so...
I really don't care. Like they're gonna write out Carrie Fisher in some way or another,
Uh-huh.
and then these characters are gonna, their rebels are gonna fight the Empire again. Like I feel like they've painted themselves in such a corner that they can't possibly do something truly interesting with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they how they're gonna wrap this all up.
Like,
if it'll just be by the numbers, Return of the Jedi, or
it will be, but it won't be as good as Return of the Jedi. Whether there are Ewoks involved or not.
Ewoks, Gungans, and Wookiees.
Oh, just baby, where do I sign up?
Those three armies.
Oh, where do sign up, Master Luke?
Or an army of porgs. An army of porgs, an army of
I thought the porg
Gungans.
CGI didn't look all that good, by the way.
I think they use a bunch of like animatronic ones.
I mean, I think they use animatronics combined with CGI, but it was so obviously, like, they were so obviously, how do you call it, superimposed on the actual image that they kind of stood out to me. I don't know. I thought they were cute, but they were, they were far from my biggest concern.
Yeah.
When it comes to this movie.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So do you rank where would you rank episode 8?
Oh, geez.
It's kind of early, but
yeah, I don't know. Somewhere among the prequels, I think. Which again, I don't hate as much as some people on the internet.
When have you watched them?
It's been a couple of years, I think.
Yeah. So what I just said is when I watched them 3 years ago, you really notice that there's a point where just nothing makes sense anymore.
Mm-hmm. Like I realize that they aren't the best movies, but they're still enjoyable, I feel.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Yeah, but I would have a similar reaction now, or maybe an even bigger one if I saw them in the theater now, where you have, for example, in Revenge of the Sith, like there comes this moment where, okay, this is the moment that we need Anakin to go bad. So the Emperor says, "Oh, Anakin, it's the Jedi that are evil," and he just sort of accepts it, and then he kills a bunch of children, and then he says, "From my point of view, the Jedi are evil," and that's when the movie kind of lost me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the younglings.
And the younglings. Oh, Lord. Yeah. This series really should have just stayed at 4, 5, and 6.
I'm going to think on how I would have directed 8, and I'll get back to you on that. Give you my treatment of
an alternative.
Alternate cut. All right, but I've got a Christmas party to get back to.
Oh, Lord.
Because it is Christmas after all.
It is.
Gee golly.
What better way to spend this holy day than complaining about Star Wars?
I can think of no better way. God damn it.
Okay, well, that's it for us. We already did the outro, so we'll see you next week for our Game of the Year show. Hope you have a great Christmas.
Yeah.
Talk again. See you again soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.